today. Welcome in the HR session where, as in the previous session, we had discussed about the attitude and how the positive attitude and the negative attitude formed. Even I had a discussion with you about the ABC model, that how the ABC model, how the affective, behavioral and cognitive factors affect what we understand about the cognitive dissonance. Now in the today's session, even I had a discussion with you in that previous session about the attitude formation, but now in the today's session I am going to discuss with you about the attitude and the behavior. Attitude and the behavior, where the set factors plays a very important role and affect on the behavior of the individual, and through the factor of attitude: specific attitude, relevance, timing, personality factor and the social constraint. Definitely, as we said, that can the attitude predict the behavior, like being absent from the work, quit from the job? So definitely few studies suggested that the attitude and the behavior, they are closely linked, and though there is no relationship at all, some studies said like this. Whereas the researchers, they focused on what the attitude predict the behavior and when they do not. So attitude and behavior, they depend upon five things. These five things are the attitude, specific attitude, specificity, attitude relevance, attitude timing, attitude personality, personality factor and the social constraints. So individual, basically they possess both attitude journal or the specific. So in case of the woman right to the reproductive freedom, this is a journal attitude. On the another hand, if I say prefer to the pro-choice political candidate, specific attitude. So without attending the pro-choice rallies or donating or planned parenthood, right, so that you don't perform these behaviors appear to weaken the link within your attitude and the behavior. So however, given choice between both, right, and probably vote for the pro-choice candidate, or in this case your attitude seems quite predictive of your behavior. So the point is, greater the attitude specificity, stronger is the link to the behavior. Another factor is that affect the attitude behavior link is relevance. So relevance is that the attitude that address the issue in which we have some self-interest are more relevant to us, and our subsequent behavior is consistent with an expressed attitude. Then is your, for example, if we talk about that some proposal to raise the income tax, right, earning for those who are earning 5 to 10 lakhs. So if you are a student, you may not find the issue to be great personal relevance, whereas the individuals who are actually linked to this income bracket, they probably find that yes, this is highly relevant, right? So another is timing. So the timing of the measurement also affect the attitude and the behavior. Shorter the time between the attitude measurement and the observed behavior, stronger the relationships. For example, voter preference to poll taken close to the election, they are more accurate than the earlier poll. Okay, then is your personality factor. Now if you talk about the personality factor which influence the attitude behavior link. So at personality disposition, that affects the consistency between the attitude and the behavior, that is self-monitoring. Low self-monitoring on their internal states while making the decisions about the behavior, whilst high self-monitoring, they are more responsive to the situational cues. So low self-monitor means that displays greater correspondence between the attitude and behavior, and high self-monitor displays the little correspondence between the attitude and the behavior. So because they behave according to the signal from the other, and from the environment. Then is your social constraint. See, the social constraint is that affects the relationship between attitude and behavior. If you take the example of the Indian managers of ABC, any company, right? That company, it took time to adjust to the fact that during the night shift only, women workers they were there, and something unheard in India, right? So, thus, the social context provides the information about the acceptable attitude and the behavior. In case you talk about the new employees in an organization, they are exposed to the attitude of their work group, and a newcomer from any other country may hold a negative attitude towards a woman in the management because of the attitude which prevails there. So this is the difference, and in this way the attitude and the behavior affects. Next is your organization, organizational citizenship behavior and the workplace deviance. Now, what is actually the OCB, and what is that WPD? OCB is basically the organizational citizenship behavior, is the behavior which is above and beyond the call of the duty, means where the satisfied employees they are more likely to help to their co-workers, they make the positive comments about the company, refrain from complaining about the things at the work, right? They go poorly, they go beyond their call of duty, they help others, they do some extraordinary task of the company too, so they depend upon extra help from each other to get the things accomplished. That is satisfied workers, they are in the satisfied worker category. Okay, and because they want to reciprocate their positive experience, so other employees may also feel the citizenship behavior that is not recognized because they occur, outside the confines of the normal job responsibility. So this is OCB, and this definitely influence the your personal evaluation, performance evaluation. This influence it, and those who help, those who are involved in the innovation, those who develop their extraordinary skill, and that affects to directly to the OCB towards the other people, while the job cognitive directs the OCB towards the organization. This is that simple as very simple, right? As simple as it is. Next, if you talk about the workplace dissonance, okay, WPD, right? So as OCB is the dissatisfied workers, they are more likely to skip the work and quit their job. On the other hand, in case of the OCB, the satisfied one, they love to do as much as work they can do. Whereas in case of the this WDB, this workplace deviance or the work deviance behavior, I can say, because that is also the part of this. See, in that case, it is the voluntarily counterproductive behavior which violates this voluntary behavior, and which consists of counterproductive behavior which violates the organizational norms, harm others or the organization. The negative events in the world are there, and such kind of negative events like downsizing, like layoff of the employees, okay, like technological insecurities. So these are the spikes in the workplace deviance. So these leads to feel anger, hostility towards the organization, and definitely these keep the job but believe the procedure to determine layoff, which is purely unfair, and they the employee, the he or she, they may still take the revenge against the manager. So unfairness at work is the major cause of deviance, sabotage or retaliation, so positive attitude, it decreases the deviances. So DB, that is deviance behavior, it keeps it from harming performance. Okay, uh, if I talk about in Indian you know context, if I talk about the work attitude, that attitude is related to the karma yoga. Okay, and the philosophy of that Gita, the Indian epic Mahabharata too, that the word karma Sanskrit root word, and which means to do, to act through body, through speech, through thought, or union. Okay, so this karma yoga is a path of the union through action. So two dimensions of karma yoga, and sense of obligation, duty to perform for others, with the desire, absence of desire of reward, that is somehow the part of this. The universal law of cause and effect is there. So in this karma yoga is a way of acting, speaking, thinking, all that in accordance of the dharma, in accordance of the duty actually, and definitely with the avoidance of that desire, the avoidance of the desire of money, avoidance of the desire of recognition. So you can counterlink, you can interlink that thing with the workplace deviance, because when the employees are dissatisfied with their jobs, and they are more likely to engage in the workplace deviance, so they love to shift, or voluntarily they counterproductive their behavior at the workplace norms. So in this way, you can identify the negative attitude, and on how you can heal that with the help of the karma yoga. Mahatma Gandhi, he was a karma yogi actually at par excellence, right? You can take that example too. Now if I talk about employee commitment, so on the basis of that, as I shared the small story of the karma yoga, and the Gita as well as the epic Mahabharata, so on the basis of that, you can easily linked with the employee commitment. That is, the employee commitment is organization commitment, effective commitment, continuous commitment, or your normative commitment basically, right? So this commitment is there, and the strength of the individual identification, their identification within the with an organization, that is a organizational commitment. And the three kinds of basically organization commitment are effective, you have effective, continuance, and the normative commitment. So effective commitment is the employee intention, their intention to remain in the organization with the strong desire to do. Effective is loyalty, deep concern for the welfare. It consists of the three factors, where you can talk about the goals and the values, you talk about their willingness to put forth, and the desire to remain the member of the organization. That is effective, because they are effective with affectionately, loyally linked with the organization, strong desire to do something. So continuance is somehow, the continuance is basically it is somehow the tendency, employee tendency to remain in the organization, because person, they can't afford to leave, they can't afford to leave. Either they believe that if they leave, they will lose a great deal of the time, effort, or any benefit. If I talk about the normative commitment is somehow a perceived obligation, that kind of an obligation to remain within the organization. The individuals, they experience the normative commitment. So it is a normative commitment which stay with the organization, because they feel they should. Okay, so uh, this is the normative commitment. And if I talk about the organization commitment is the individual strength, or what I say, the strength of the individual identification with the organization. Okay, so individual get the strength while having the identification with the organization, that is organization commitment, right? So otherwise, the three kinds of these organization commitments I had discussed, these are the three kinds of the commitment: effective, continuance, and the normative. Okay, so I hope this much is clear, and it is quite interesting also and very useful to all of you. So thank you for listening patiently and being linked with me. Those who haven't subscribed my channel, please subscribe my channel and like my channel. Thank